Hi, I'm Owen, and today we're going to be doing some nice back work today. Some twisting, some flexion and extension of the spine to hopefully get you with a nice, healthy, happy back in your weekend day. So we're going to start off coming straight into a tabletop position today. So come onto our hands and knees, stacking the wrists and the shoulders, the knees and the hips, spanning out our fingers nice and wide. And then we're going to do the old faithful, very useful cat-cow. So allowing ourselves to really try and roll from the tailbone up into the crown of the head in a nice fluid motion. So we're going to take a nice slow inhale, dropping the belly down, dropping the chest between the shoulders and drawing a line with the nose to look forwards. Exhale to roll again with the pelvis starting it, pushing away from the mat. Chin comes to chest as we open through the upper back. Inhale down, dropping the belly, dropping the chest. Exhale to push away from the mat, opening through the spine. Inhale down, nice and slow. And finally exhale to push away and round. Really exaggerating this with the chin coming towards the chest. Your next inhale, come back to center. We'll keep those hands in that position for just a moment as we align those knees and hips. The toes could be curled under the feet if it's more comfortable for us. Then we're going to try and walk those hands forward to come into either puppy or melting heart pose, depending on what school of thought you're from. Trying to drop the chest down towards the floor. Some of us this will be fine to do as we lightly extend through the spine. Some of us might be better off, depending on how intense it feels for us on the shoulders and the wrists, having those elbows in front of the shoulders, hands stacked. Drawing the chest down. Still trying to keep the hips and knees nicely in alignment. And then trying to do this in a fluid motion, we're going to have those hands coming out in front of us, coming low along the floor, coming down and into a Sphinx pose as we drop the pelvis down, stacking those elbows underneath the shoulders now. Hands could be positioned in the nice sort of parallel position, palms down. They could be palms up for a softer wrist position or stacked in the center of the mat if that's again more comfortable for you. Trying to draw those shoulders back to bring the chest forward, allowing the chin to be lightly down towards the chest just for a softer neck position. And if we widen the gait of the feet, so having the feet spread out a bit further apart, we can soften a little bit in that lower back region. If we feel that we want to deepen the intensity of our Sphinx, we can bring those legs a bit closer together, maybe even touching to increase that lumbar, lower back stretch. Customizing it for what feels right to us. We're going to lower the chest down with care, bringing the hands to the sides of the chest. We're going to push back up into a tabletop position. And we're going to roll back over our ankles or swing the legs out to the side to come into a seated position, legs out in front of us. Sitting up nice and tall. We can bend the knees if you've got extra tight hamstrings here or any sciatic pain. If not, a relatively straight leg without locking the joints. We're going to inhale those hands up. Exhale to drape down towards the feet, stopping either on the thighs, shins, ankles, or the feet. Trying to draw the belly forward so that we're not rounding down towards the legs. If we're touching the feet, the hands could be positioned on the big toes, having our first and middle finger on that hooked position on the big toes and the thumbs joining on. Open up through the whole of the posterior chain here, still breathing nice and slowly from belly to chest and back down again in and out through the nose. This slow cycle, this ocean-like breath, if you will, as the waves come up and down the torso. Last breath here, nice slow inhale. On the exhale, we'll sit up nice and tall and bring those hands up with us. bring them down to our sides. We can draw those feet in again, bringing the feet together, allowing the knees to spread out to the sides for our butterfly pose here. Sitting up tall, we can have a nice slow inhale, bring those hands up above the head, and on the exhale we'll twist to our right, bring the right hand behind us. That left hand could come to the outside of the right hip crease or the right thigh, trying to draw ourselves in this alteration, a twisting alteration of our butterfly. As we look behind that right shoulder, try not to fall back onto that right arm, having it nicely positioned in the glutes to stay tall through the spine. And slowly on our next exhale, we can release, coming back round to face the front. We can inhale those hands up and then exhale the twist to our left. Have that left hand behind us, the right hand comes to the outside of that left hip crease or thigh as we look back behind us again. Still breathing in control in the twist. Next exhale, we'll untwist, bring ourselves to face the front. We can help those legs up and then either extend the legs out to come onto our spines or just allowing them to slowly make our way down. Bring our spines to the floor, head down with care. We can hug those knees in towards the chest, gently swaying to the left and to the right. Bit of self-massage against the mat as we do so. We can lower those feet back down onto the floor. Bringing the feet together, we'll let that butterfly effect increase again in this recline position, or occur again. The knees fall out to the sides. The hands can be resting on the belly, maybe one hand belly, one hand chest. Or we could bring them out to the sides, bending at 90 degrees at the elbow to come into a cactus arm variation. So we've got the fingers pointing back behind us, relaxing the hands and the fingers so they curl towards the palm. Chin can come lightly towards the chest. And this is going to cause a lighter extension of the lower back as those hips open up. Allowing gravity to do the work for us just temporarily here. You can bring those hands, if they're on the belly and chest, or out to the sides, slowly down to the outside of the thighs. Closing the book of the legs, hugging those knees in a second time, gently swaying to the left and to the right. And then we're going to place those feet on the floor by the glutes. The arms can come out to the sides now, and we're going to shuffle the hips and then the feet to the right, the left-hand side of the mat, and then let the body roll onto the outer right hip crease, let the knees fall over to the right hand side. The gaze could stay centered. It could go with the twist to the right or oppose it going over to the left. Go for what feels right to you. And a nice reclined twist here. Relaxing those fingers again. We'll let that left hip get heavy, the gaze come back to center as the glutes come back down to the floor, the feet plant on the floor, shuffling the hips and the feet to center, and then continuing over to that right hand side with the hips, the feet to the right as well. Roll onto the outside left hip crease, let the knees roll over to the left hand side. Gaze again could stay centered, could go with the twist to the left, could oppose the twist to the right, allowing an option that works for us, trying to relax those hands again. Try to keep both shoulders grounded. Join this for another round of breath, nice and slow and steady. Next inhale, we can bring the gaze up. We can let that right hip get heavy, drawing down towards the floor, planting both feet on the floor. Bringing the glutes and the feet to the center of the mat. And then we're going to keep them there in that central position. The hands could come palms down just either sides of the torso here. We're going to come into a nice option of a bridge pose. We could tuck those shoulders lightly beneath the chest to accentuate this in advance. Chin comes lightly to the chest. Then we're going to push into those feet to lift the hips up. By doing so, we're going to brace the core, activating the glutes, pushing into the thighs, lifting up through that lower body region. Then we're going to try and hold this for just a moment, keeping that nice structure of our bridge. Our next exhale, we'll lower down with care. Hug those knees in towards the chest. We can try and repeat that in just a moment. So we'll lower those feet down again, but this time we're going to try with one leg off the floor potentially if we feel that it's within our options available to us. If not, we can repeat that bridge we did last time. So hands can come to the sides, the body palms down. We can push into the left leg or both legs, extending through the right, lifting up with the hips, drawing the hips and the pelvis towards the sky, pointing the toes, the right leg if we've gone for the three-legged option. Taking a nice slow inhale and slowly on the exhale, releasing that right foot back down, lowering the glutes down, hugging those knees in, and again, lightly swaying. And we can lower those feet back down, repeating on the opposite side. So again, could keep both feet down. If not, we can extend through the left leg, push into that right foot, hands come onto the sides of the mat, palms down for support, rolling those shoulders potentially underneath the chest, then push into that right foot, activating the glutes, activating the thighs, extending through that left leg. An interesting one to try and talk through. So we brace that core, activating in the torso, having stability in that imbalance with just the one leg planted. We can lower down on an exhale with care, bringing both feet down, hugging those knees for a final time, swaying to the left, to the right. Enjoying this slightly quicker practice today. Nice morning stretch possibly to activate and get a bit of blood flowing. And lowering those feet down towards the mat, we can extend through the legs to come into our Savasana, where we'll be for a couple of minutes here. Feet can be as wide as the mat, let the feet fall out to the sides, hands can come to the sides, palms facing up, chin can come lightly towards the chest. Then we can close our eyes, softening the features of the face and the jaw, and the lips, and the cheeks and the eyes, and the brow, the third eye of the forehead, and also the crown of the head. Softening down. We'll just be here for a moment. And even though this is a shorter physical practice, it's really important that we enjoy this bit of silence and stillness for the mental and physical recovery. So enjoy the next minute or two in silence, relaxing down into the mat. So this particular video in practice is going to begin to come to a close, but by all means stay here as long as you wish. Let's probably close off. I'd just like to say how much I appreciate everyone who takes the classes, the 132 people subscribed to the channel at this time, everyone that comments to tell me where you're practicing from in the world. It really means a lot to me. It's amazing to see how much these videos are sort of moving around the planet. It's really a beautiful thing to see, so I really do appreciate those comments. Everyone that enjoys these videos. There'll be more to come in the following weeks, so hopefully I'll see you again soon. Till then, have a great day, week, month or year, and all the best.